3 is inside. This is the porter, his only scene. He's kind of like the watchman to some degree. He's extremely hungover from the banquet. Everybody's been partying. Everything was, woo, great. And somebody's knocking, and he wakes up, and he's still hungover. And so he's just kind of walking. This is kind of a, it's not that it's hilarious to us, but this was a humor piece in this otherwise tragedy. It's kind of a nice little a break for the audience so they can kind of come down off of that excitement. So when we find the body here, because we're going to be introduced to Macduff, who is a very important character, and Macduff is there to have an appointment with the king. The king told me to call on him. Well, here's where we're going to find the body. So it happened pretty quickly. And look at the reaction from all the people. Look at Macbeth and Lady Macbeth's reaction. Do they play their cards right? Are they acting appropriately? Macduff and all the other things, how are they acting? What about Malcolm and Donalbain, the 2 children of Duncan? How are they behaving? And so on. So pay attention to those. This is one of the lengthy ones in the play, about 8 minutes or so. So scene 3. Okay, I'm just starting off with the porter. I'm not going to take too much time there, but did you notice how it looks different? It's written in prose, like just normal sentences and stuff, not so lined and everything. And I think this is the only time that this shows up in the play. It's just a little comic relief, a little bit different. You know, you can imagine him entering from one side of the stage and exiting on the extreme other, just shuffling his feet slowly. Knock, knock. I'm coming. I'm coming. You've seen that in movies before, and during each knock, he can go, oh, I'm so hungover. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, gee, you want to come in that bad? What's going on? And then they knock, I'm coming. Jeez, come on. You know, so it's just something silly to kind of spice it up a little bit or give you a break from the drama. 3:44, we have Macduff walk in, and as I said in setting up the scene, as I said setting up, he is he's there to have a meeting with the king. And so he goes. He goes to find him, and he leaves. Macbeth and Macduff have a good morrow. Oh, is the king stirring? Not yet. Oh, he did command me call upon him. Okay, well, go. He's there. And so while he's there, you know, we have Lennox, another Thane. We have Macbeth sitting around talking and that type of thing until Macduff enters on 3:45 around line 60. He comes in, horror, tongue, not heart, cannot conceive nor name thee. I can't speak of the horrors that I've just seen. You know, this is horrible. What's the matter, Macbeth and Lennox? You know, so, and the audience, we would be just staring at Macbeth, trying to see if he's really, you know, like, oh my, what happened? I have no idea. You know, or would he be acting different? Because the last time we saw Macbeth, he was not very, he wasn't very, put together. He wasn't very collected. Okay. And so Macduff says that he was murdered. You know, so everybody find him. What, do you mean His Majesty? Go and look in the chamber and destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. And there's the illusions. There are tons of mythical illusions that Shakespeare utilizes in his writing that we don't necessarily know. So you have to look at the footnote, which is a mythological monster whose gaze turned an onlooker to stone. We know that name as being what? Medusa. She was a Gorgon. And so you go in there, and the horror of the situation will turn you to stone. And so ring the alarm bell, murder, treason, because it's not just the murder of somebody, but a treason against your king, you know, against your country. The next page, so everybody, I mean, commotion's coming on. Banquo enters in. Lady Macbeth is there. Whoa, alas, what in our house? No, no. Banquo, too cruel anywhere, dear Duff, I prithee. Contradict thyself and sayest not. Please tell me you're joking. Please contradict what you just said and say it isn't so. Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant, there's nothing serious in mortality. So Macbeth, what a great line to say. You know, if I had died an hour ago, fine. But I don't know about living now with this, our noble king, gone. Do you see the act that's being played here? Obviously. He has to say the right things. And in fact, he starts to say a little too much here at the bottom. Donalbain and Malcolm enter. What's amiss? What's going on? I heard all the commotion. What's going on? You know, what is amiss? You are and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped. Your royal father's murdered. Well, by whom? Those of his chamber, as it seemed, but had done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood, and so were their daggers, which, unwiped, we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them. So did her plan work? Yes. They found them dazed, staggering, covered in blood, and they hadn't washed themselves yet. And so they found it. It was perfect. Look at what Macbeth says, because things start to unravel slightly here. Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them. Wherefore did you so? What? Why did you do that? So Macbeth, hearing that, that these murderers, Macbeth went in and killed them, which is what, that was part of the plan. Okay, he went in and silenced them. But he's questioned about it. Now, Macduff is not saying, Macbeth, why did you do that? You must be guilty of murder and treason, murder. No, he's not saying that. Just, why'd you do that? Because don't you think they probably wanted to talk to them and find out why they did what they did? Because surely two guys, one guy could easily be infiltrated and murdered, but both of them were secret agents. Maybe they were working for somebody. Maybe they were killing him for someone, and we could have talked to them and questioned them, but no, you had to go murder them. That was all kind of, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Macbeth, who can be wise and amazed, temperate and furious? Who can be loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition of my violent love outrun the pause and reason. I was so traumatized and so angry that I just had to kill them and take my revenge out on them. So who can be temperate while they're furious? No man can. I did what any Thane here would do. He doesn't shut up. He keeps going on. He gives 4 or 5 more lines on the next page. Look at Lady Macbeth. She faints. Help me hence. Ho! Why does she faint there? Ah, very good. To draw attention, to shut him up. Okay? Because he's just talking and talking and talking. If you guys are ever interrogated by the cops, they want you to talk, don't they? Hopefully not from personal experience, but from, you're watching shows and movies. They want you to talk. They want you to go on and on and on with your stories, because eventually they're going to catch you up on some, especially if you're lying, they're going to catch you. That's what their logic is. And so they want you to talk. And so the best thing you do is just sit there and be quiet. And so he's not doing that. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known? She faints. Look at Macduff. The only line he said on the previous page before Macbeth started talking was, why'd you do that? I paraphrase. Why'd you do that? She faints. Oh, look to the woman. Did the distraction work? Yes. He didn't go right back at Macbeth. And he wasn't there to attack Macbeth. He's just questioning, well, why'd you do that? Why, that doesn't make much sense. Why'd you do that? Oh, look after the lady. Look to the lady. Malcolm and Donalbain have a little aside. Why do we hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for ours? What should be spoken here? Let's away, our tears are not yet brewed. They're still kind of in shock. They're not bawling. They're not, they're not acting the way that they think that they should be acting. How come the Thanes and this woman's fainting? All these people have greater reactions to our father being murdered than what we do. Our tears are not yet brewed. Let's go away a little bit and talk. And so they kind of excuse themselves in a little bit. Excuse me. But even Banquo, look to the lady. So Banquo and Macduff. Okay? Don't you think Banquo might be a little suspicious? If not right now, do you think maybe in a little bit, once they can process it? I would think so. I think you guys would be suspicious of him. And so on. The last couple lines of Banquo, he kind of says, let's go talk about this and see what happens next, because we don't have a king. We need to figure something out. We need a leader. So, in the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice. And then they're saying, let's go and talk about this. Macduff says, so do I. Let's go and confer. Hey, let's go meet in the hall, Macbeth. The next page, we see Malcolm and Donalbain are pretty much left alone here on stage. Well, they are left alone because everybody left. Malcolm says, let's go away. Okay, what will you do? let's not consort with them. So let's not go to the meeting with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office. And so they're afraid that they're going to be charged with this murder because who has the most to gain? Not Macbeth. Who's going to be the heir? The Prince of Cumberland, Malcolm. And so he goes, let's, we can't go there and come up with fake tears. They're sad their dad died, but they're in shock. They don't know how to act or behave. So he goes, I'm going to go to England. And Donalbain goes, well, I'll go to Ireland. Our separate fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles. Because their dad was killed by somebody close. Somebody who loved their dad in theory. So these men who are smiling are the men that have the daggers to do the, somebody in the house did the murder. Okay, somebody probably put those men up to doing it, even though the murderers were killed with the daggers. And so they decide we're going to split up because we're safer. Okay, because if we're in the same place together, it's a lot easier for somebody to find us and kill us. Because if they went after Daddy, they're probably going to come after us. Can anybody think of a movie where the premise was to take two kids and separate them for their protection?
Parent Trap.
Star Wars. Parent Trap.
That's a good movie.
Oh, okay. Star Wars and Parent Trap in the same sentence I've never heard before, and never, hopefully, will I hear again. But Star Wars. Okay, they take Luke and Leia as children, and they separate them. One goes to Alderaan, one goes to Tatooine. Vader thinks that they're dead. He thought that they died in childbirth when Padme died and all of that. But they separate them for the greater good of the children, that should one of them ever be found, the other one is there. Okay? And so it's a very smart move on their part, Donalbain and Malcolm, to separate and for this perceived fear. Because in essence, Macbeth, the next obstacle that he must knock out or knock down is Malcolm. And so we have Malcolm, who should be the next king, and Donalbain fleeing the country. Well, then who's going to be king? We're going to find out here in a little bit.